Hey guys, today's tutorial will be about how to select a domain name. So first of all, the things to take into account when picking a domain name is that your domain name should really be your website name. It needs to be obvious what you do as soon as that domain name is read. So for example, if you're doing a gardening website, then your domain name should preferably contain the word gardening. You don't want it to be something that doesn't associate you with a gardening business. So the other thing to take into account is using any generic or brand names. You want to steer clear of anything sort of like cars.com because they're likely to have some sort of brand or trademark issue with them. Long domain names are definitely not as good as short ones. Short and simple is definitely preferable, and definitely no hyphenated names. They're just totally complex to use. In terms of the .com or .com.au or .asia, it's probably preferable to go with the .com where you can if you want a global audience. The search engines will definitely have preferential treatment over a .com domain. Then if you had a .com.au, then the search engines will give you preferable Australian traffic and they won't give you preferable international traffic. So if you're building a blog and you're here in Australia, select the .com. But alternatively, if you really want that domain name and it's already taken, then a .net and a .org is satisfactory, but definitely not as good as the .com. So try to change your domain name if you absolutely have to. So in terms of how you go about getting a domain name, I'm just going to do another screen capture. Here in Australia, I like to use crazydomains.com, and that's just because they do all of the extensions. But if you're internationally, then Bluehost is a good one as well. Bluehost is sitting there on the screen, or Crazy Domains. And it is just a matter of, in our example, if we put gardening basics, let's try that one, and the .com.au. So if your business, so gardeningbasics.com is on back order, okay? So if you're only going to be working out of Australia, then it will not matter grabbing the .com.au in this instance. So in this case, we would add it. But if you're doing a blog and you're hoping to reach an international audience, then I'd definitely go with the .com. Don't go for the .com.au, you'll regret it. Then we just register, and it will take you through a series of questions about, you don't want that one anymore, checkout. Okay, then it will ask you for a bunch of stuff. And none of this is important except for the privacy, which is the whois.com. That's this one, private. You don't really want people knowing all your personal details, so definitely take this option here. None of this is important. Now, it's always better to go with an email that is something like, sales@gardeningbasics.com.au. So if it's just you and you're a one-man band, then you only need to get one email hosting, which is here. Or you can get the unlimited accounts. But I always just go for one and I make it sales. But if you've got a team, then definitely go for more than one. So we continue our order. Okay, and then it will just ask you to put in an ABN. And then we move towards payment, and you can just make your payment easily by PayPal or credit card. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just stop that video there. That was 2 minutes. Photo booth. Okay, so I guess to recap, when you get your domain, you get it at the time when you're about to go live with your website. Often they'll throw the domain in for free. Keep it simple, keep it short, keep it relevant. And if you want to go international and you've got a blog or a business that's international, go for the .com every time. If you can't get the domain that you want, then yes, going .com.net.au is fine. And if you're just going to be here in Australia and you're just going to be operating out of, any place, then just pick the .com.au, that's fine. So thanks guys, I hope you've enjoyed this real quick video. If you wanted to contribute to my work, then there's a PayPal link below to support my work. Or you're welcome to go to my website for more free articles on how to do everything. My passion is to try to make this stuff easy so that everyone can set their own website up and that you really don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, that you can just do it on your own. It's my passion and I really love being able to help you. So if you want to make sure you send me a message and let me know how this has gone for you. Tell me if this is of any help or any questions that you might have on any other areas. Thanks, guys. When selecting a domain name, I always go to crazydomains.com.au here in Australia, or if you're overseas, then Bluehost is also a good one, although they don't do all the extensions. So in this case, going with our example, we'll go with gardeningbasics.com.au. And here we can see that it's available. It's already in the cart. Okay, that it's available. We can also see that the .com is available for backorder. So when you're doing a services-based business, it's okay to go with your extension of where you're based. So in this case, if you're in Australia, you would use the .com.au. That immediately tells people that you're a business operating out of Australia. Or if you were a business in America, you would go with .com or anywhere in the world. But if you're a blog here in Australia and you wanted an international audience, then it's always better to go with the .com. So if we wanted a blog about gardening basics, then we would try and come up with some other name so that we actually had a .com to work with. So in this case, we'll actually pick the .com.au. And then all we need to do is select register now, and it will just ask you to go through a series of questions. Now, most of this add-on stuff is just them trying to upsell stuff that you don't need. The only thing you do need is the privacy selection, which is this one here, to go private. And this enables you to basically not disclose to people searching on for this domain name what your actual address and phone number and email address is. So I always take up that option. It's only $14 a year for 2 years. The rest of it we don't need. Now, depending on when you get the domain name, it's always better to get your domain name when you're ready to go with your web hosting and your email hosting. That's if you think you've got a domain name that's not particularly exciting. But if you do have a domain name that's really hot, then take it. Don't wait for all this stuff. But getting your web hosting and unlimited emails all in one is always a better option. Okay, so then we click continue order, and then it just asks us take us forward to a payment page. So as you can see, we've got the domain name gardeningbasics.com.au for 2 years. Plus privacy for $33.90, which is really nothing in the whole scheme of things. And then we just move forward to payment.